So currently in society, there are a lot of new terms arising. There are a lot of new definitions, but this only means that we're discovering more about our society and how the world works. So an example that I like to bring up is, for the first thing that's very recognizable, is racism. Most people think the racism is just interpersonal racism, you being discriminatory or basing on race against another person. That's interpersonal racism, but we also have different types of racism, which means that now we have discovered, for example, institutional racism. There have been institutions that still fuck over black people, and this is an important acknowledgement of how we view society and how we use words like racism. Now, the same can be said, for example, and this is very easy to understand, if you have a chair. Now you need to get a definition of a chair, and you say a chair is something with a sitting area and it has 4 legs. Great definition. It mostly captures all chairs, but also some other things. Now somebody comes along and he brings a chair and it has 2 legs. And you think, shit, god damn it, my definition was so fucking amazing. True, also racism. If you have this chair, you have this 2-legged chair, then you have to change your definition, and your definition will also have to capture the 2 legs. So you think, you know what, a chair is something with a sitting area and an amount of legs divided by 2. And then someone brings along a 3-legged chair, and then you say, okay, I don't give a shit, a chair is just something you can sit on. And now a table is also a chair, since you can sit on it. And this is incredibly difficult. You need to have a definition for new things you discover, and it's the same with racism. It's the same with sexism. It's the same with gender. It's the same with sex. It's the same with all these different types of definition. I don't think bigotry of low expectations is publicly accepted. I think most people like turn against it though. It's taught in college. Do you have a source on that? I'd love to see it though. Yeah, probably depends on what was said in college, because you have to recognize there's a difference, right? Most conservative people will say, okay, it's bigotry of low expectations when leftists say, yeah, black people have a lower chance of getting a certain job. Like, if, for example, there has been been a study that they sent out resumes with white sounding names and black sounding names. And what happens, the black sounding names got rejected a lot more often than the resumes with the white sounding names. These were exact resumes, only the names were changed. So there has been a disproportionate effect, you know. It means that if you have a black sounding name or an ethnic sounding name, that you were less likely to get hired. It doesn't mean that the expectations were low, that that they think, oh, you couldn't get a job because of it. No, it's that you have more obstacles to get through. So if it's being taught in college as like, hey, you are black, which means, on the anecdote, I usually encounter the opposite. Well, if you encounter the opposite, then you can say that, hey, like if there are some people who think, yeah, black people are inferior to white people, or like, yeah, oh, they're not able to do this, then yeah, you should call it out. But if you hear people say, oh, you're black, which means that there are systems in place that will make it more difficult for you to get to the same level as a white man or white person, then that's not bigotry of low expectations. Like there needs to be a distinction between them. The same, by the way, with sexism. If the people have very similar experience, the black person will get hired over the white person. Yeah, I don't like that as well. I do think though, so I don't think positive discrimination, which it basically is, like we need to acknowledge this. I don't think positive discrimination has the best outcomes for our society, because it basically ignores the systems that are in place which fuck over black people. However, I do think positive discrimination can help uh, uh, can help uh, um, can help black people, because it is true that in the US and probably in other countries as well, that there has been that most people of a minority live in poor areas, and we can alleviate that long term if you, for example, have a black person who has a job, if they get the same experience. No, no, positive discrimination is not for optics. It's just, I mean, I'm still against discrimination. That's really all it is there for. Okay, let's put it like this. I think discrimination in itself is bad because it it is not equal to those of different races or different sexes or different genders, etc. Okay, that's my main line. It's not making equal. It's not getting to equality or meritocracy. I agree. I think that's a bad thing. However, if you have positive discrimination, that means if you have positive discrimination, that means that it can lead to positive outcomes. For example, I'm against war because it hurts people. I'm against war because it affects people. It hurts them, uh, um, and often there's no good reason for it. However, I think that there can be wars that are justified in fighting. I think, for example, the Civil War was justified because the outcomes of it were that black people will be able to be free. I think positive discrimination can be viewed in the same. I don't agree with discrimination, but I can see how it has potential good outcomes to get a more equal society. Now, I don't think this is the perfect solution. I'm not saying that. But I think that there are situations in which it can be good. Oh, meritocracies are inachievable. People in general really don't like meritocracies because when shown what happens in reality, it doesn't fit where they thought it would be. What do you mean? People in general really don't like meritocracies. I like the concept of meritocracies, but when it happens in reality, I don't think we can even achieve a real meritocracy. I'm wondering, like, what do you base this on? Yeah. No, 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 that's not true. Okay, okay, so I think you're conflating. Okay, Meritocracy means everybody has the same starting point, and then you only by your own volition you can achieve the highest possible thing. Okay, there's nothing else stopping you, it's just you. However, it is interesting if we look at the disproportionate amount of wealth between white people and black people, that we can see that black people are being fucked over still. Like, I think the richest people in the US, only 1% was black, I think. Okay, but why would that be? Because if you have a meritocracy, that would mean that representation would be everywhere, right? Like, let's say you have a meritocracy and you have white people and black people in the system, an equal amount, like 50-50, right? And you look at just a large company, all right? People are based everywhere 50-50, so there isn't like a distinction. No, it has something to do with it, because you need to recognize, how can it be a meritocracy if black people are not disproportionately in it, in those businesses? Like, if you have the 50-50 world, right, black and white, and you have a large company. Yeah, I get that, but let me get to that. You have a large company, and you see that in this corporation 70% is white and 30% is black. Now, in a meritocracy, that would mean that that black people didn't achieve as much. But if we would accept that black people didn't do as much, then what would the conclusion be? Since we have ruled out the environment being affecting this change, we have to assume that something biologically about black people that have led them to a 30% representation instead of a 50% representation. I do not like this. I don't think one race is superior or inferior to another just based on their race. Let's say now we have something that we would like to quote-unquote call a meritocracy, right? And then you can see the same thing. There's disproportionate representation of white people to black people. Since I don't personally like the argument that there is, by the way, there's still no evidence about this as well, that there is a genetic difference between black people and white people, that means that there must be something wrong in the environment. It means that this is not a meritocracy. There are still systems in place that keep black people down. That there's still obstacles that they need to face. And I think that representation in businesses show that there is still a system in place that keeps them down. You get what I'm saying? If you make a farm, exactly the same work ethic, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's the argument. But even work ethic is something that will also be evenly divided with white people and black people, because I don't think that's tied to genetics or to skin color, at least. It can be genetics, by the way. Like, I'm not denying it could be tied to genetics, but it also depends on upbringing or the situation or the environment. But if we remove the environment, then it just comes down to genetics, and I don't think that that is tied to your race. How I don't think work ethic is tied to your race. I think that should be something that we need to throw off the table right away. Yes, exactly. So therefore, if we look at the company, then we should see that it is close to 50-50, like 49-51, or like I think 53-47 might also be acceptable. But if it's 70-30, then there must have gone something wrong, because worth ethics should be evenly divided among the races. I think that's just a thing we need to accept, because if we want to see equal, then we need to see those worth ethic genes, quote unquote, also as equally divided, equally, what do you call it? Not divided, but equally spread among the races, right? Equal of outcome for diversities and no, I'm not saying equality of outcome. I say if we have a meritocratic system, then we should see an equality of outcome for the representation. I don't think diversity itself is something that we should achieve. I think it will be a byproduct of a meritocracy. Exactly. Exactly. So therefore, I as a leftist, I want to acknowledge that those systems are in place. The same with, bring it back to the transgender video, the same with gender dysphoria. If there are situations where you're not comfortable, if you're not allowed to be comfortable with a different gender, it will have poor outcomes for transgender people. If you have an environment which is, for example, redlined in the US, then you will have a poor outcome, because the school system's gonna suck because it's tied to your home, and your home sucks because you live in a poor area. So therefore, I as a leftist, I want to basically sort of less depending, I want to remove the idea that depending on your environment, you should be able to achieve lesser or better things. My problem is validity versus trying to be different. I should brown this, by the way. Never mind. What do you mean, validity versus trying to be different about transgender people? Oh yeah, but that's like group pressure behavior. Like I don't think that's something that need to be looked at, because um if you aren't like the process of getting transitioning or actually medication is difficult. Like I think I saw something, you need to wait at least 6 months and get like 2 years of therapy sessions to confirm that you are. But yet, it's the same with smoking, so I don't think it's just like, yeah, it's the same with like smoking. Like if people smoke, they will also get they will also get like, I don't like smoking, but I'm in a friend group who smokes, so all right, I'll do it. trends years ago is completely different from true, but I think that's a good thing though. Like we now are progressing towards that there is more inclusivity, that it's less of an less of a stigmatized issue, and oh yeah, true. Well, it's the same with bisexual basically. I think I've met also a lot of people which are which I think, okay, you're bisexual, and I don't know about that, but you know, people will grow out of it. I think this is mostly like an edgy 15, 16-year-old person. Like, I don't think this is adults doing it, you know? And I don't think I'm the person to validate another's, like, sexuality or gender. Uh, yeah, but it's the same with gender, you know? Gender is also a spectrum. You know, I just explained this, like, you don't have to be one or the other. Like, there are also different types of gender. There's non-binary, there's woman, there's I think femboys also would fit on it. Like I don't think we should be the ones. If people say they're trans and they want us to recognize their pronouns, or if they're bisexual and they want us to recognize that they are, like, I don't have to be the person who invalidates that. Like, I can just say, okay, I'll do it. Because if they are and you are actually giving like pushback, that might again lead to those poor outcomes for them. So generally accepting them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I thought I showed it on stream. Like, I thought Conyer, for example, I thought Conyer was just a fanboy, because if you hear him talk, I think him is the pronoun. If you hear them talk, like, they have a very masculine voice, even though their presentation is more feminine. Right? When I first saw them, I thought uh, um, I thought they were a woman, or like trans or something, because that is the thing that most content creators are within a leftist community. But yeah, I think they're just a fanboy. Again, I would need to look into this. Isn't the same also with a tomboy who's more feminine, but also still. No, wait, no. Tomboy was a woman presenting male. Sorry, a woman presenting themselves, a female presenting themselves manly. Jesus Christ, I'm getting them mixed up as well. Okay, just to anyone who's watching this after the stream has ended, conflation between sex and gender. Okay, like, get used to it. Oh, hold on. True. I don't know what you mean with authoritarian style. Like, you mean legislation? Like, you mean like pressure from the groups? Like, what do you mean? Social hierarchies and assumptions of what a person could be. Um, Well, I would argue that there are social hierarchies within every friend group. Like, if you're talking about friend groups, I think there are social hierarchies, and I think it's not per se a bad thing to adhere to them. It really depends, because like if you have a leader within a friend group that they can organize shit and things, wouldn't all to be too bad. But if you're talking about social hierarchies like based on gender or things, that's more identity politics, and I'm also against that. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, there are like massive stereotypes about basically everything, and just yeah, I'm glad you are aware of this of feminine boy or about femboys, because again I was when I was trying to show with Conyer, there has been, I don't recall, a few months ago, there has been like a massive outrage of conservatives who were like shit talking them because the conservatives thought that they were transgender and wasn't going to accept, and wasn't like, I was trying to put an effort to be to try to look feminine, but like they were trying to look feminine, but they aren't transgender, I think. So like that's really like if people know about these subjects and about their misconceptions, then we can lead to like better outcomes. But clearly conservatives don't know. And again, like what I've said here with Gothics, it's the same. Like we watched this video, or at least parts of it, which there have been misconceptions about. Well, okay, so I can kind of get that, but I do think, okay, Steven Crowder is just like a white nationalist. Like I hope we can agree on that one. Okay, like sometimes he just makes racist comments. He's just awful. There have been a lot of videos about Steven Crowder. That's awful. Gothics, I personally don't like her style of content, but also if you look at the arguments, if you look at the videos, I encourage you to look at the content. Just what I did, just try to see if you can find some conflation. I did another video on her as well, which is which has poor audio quality. Not gonna lie. I recently found out about noise gates. Closet trend. He's just like a cross dresser, alright? If you've seen like then he also like do an Asian outfit and like dressing up as a woman. Uh, anyway. I wanna get done with this stream. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just getting a wig and like some dresses. Oh, he's definitely close to trends. If we have like DMs of him, like where I can say it, that would be fucking massive amount of content. Jesus Christ, dude. Alright, one last thing I wanna say. I wanna by the way, I wanna talk to you in the future. If you be up for that, like just have a debate or like a chat about Gothics, maybe, or some other positions you may hold I disagree with. You can find my email in my about page on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, especially like he is like conservative, alright? So I don't know why he was like so comfortable wearing the clothes. Like I think he would be like massively against it. Like he would think it would be degeneracy or something, But he was just like wearing it out. Harry Styles did it as well, but not gonna lie, he looks, I think, more feminine. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Have you seen how much his mug cost? Like, you have those mugs like Lauro Crowder, and they're like, you only get them if you have a year subscription of something else. I don't know. He's like a mild kind of what's the they're going to turn the frogs gay kind of guy. Alex Jones. Alex Jones. Yeah, I got it. He's like a watered down Alex Jones. Oh yeah, 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 massively. I don't know now. Well, okay, I could maybe see how Ben Shapiro could be liberal because he is reasonably smart. I think Crowder's just stupid. I don't think he's that smart. I think he's just stupid. I think he knows he lies, but I still think he's just stupid. So he would probably think that, well, I'm still against it, but I don't know. I don't have any arguments against it. Like, I know I hate it, but I don't know why. That kind of vibe, like a grog. No, no, not grog. Fuck. What's the guy's name from Cusco? Gronk. Gronk. Yeah, that's it. Again, yeah, you said it best. Like, he's just a grifter. But his interpersonal IQ is very low. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to finish, but I like talking to you. I hope I see you at another stream. Um, or maybe like email me so we can maybe have a discussion on my about page. You should be able to find my email address. Last thing I want to say about transgender issue to wrap it up. There are a lot of misconceptions about trans people and about identifying who is trans or not. I have a funny anecdote. I once was on Roll20, which is basically like a D&D site where you can meet up with strangers, talk to them, chat with them. And there was this one person who had a very feminine voice. And was me and three other guys, and then this person. So first session was there, we all started talking, and the person with the high voice started talking as well. But so we all called logically, because the presentation we didn't see facial, we just heard the voice, and we thought, okay, this is a woman. We just heard the feminine voice and we thought, this is a woman. This is a woman. But the first time it got called out, like, hey, I'm not a woman, I'm a dude. So now we and the entire party had to think, okay, this person is a he. This person is a he. This is a dude. Now after the first session, I thought, okay, I need to get to the bottom of this. True. So I got to the bottom of this. After the first session, I asked, hey, so what's going on? You have a very feminine voice, that you are a dude, like, are you transgender or something? And then the funniest thing said back to me, no, I'm just 14 years old. It was so stupid, because he was just a cis guy who just didn't have like his Adam's apple, who didn't have like a lower voice which he associated with men, and it was it was something stupid, It's a great example of someone misgendering someone else, with that person being just cisgender. It's when I found out, it was I had to crack myself up. I was ashamed of myself. I thought, wait, I've texted with this person online, to set up the meetings, and he said he was 12 or 14. I don't know, one of the two. to just play D&D, and I thought, okay, this game's for all ages. And then I heard it, then I heard his voice, and then I completely forgot about who he was and why the hell he had like a feminine voice. And it was just eye-opening to see that it doesn't matter whether you're cis or trans or non-binary or anything. Like, misgendering can be like the easiest thing to do, and getting conscious about not doing that and seeing people as they are, I think is pretty fucking valuable to cisgender people and to transgender people. Like, if I would call Gothics a he, like, she wouldn't want to she wouldn't be happy about it as well. Alright, I think this was a good stream. Anyway, I'm going to finish. I unfortunately have to go, but if you liked it, press like button. Anyway, if you liked the video, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. I'm going to head out. If you want me to cover any more new content, if you see a video popping up, if you want me to talk about a certain topic, you can also email me if you want to talk, debate, anything. I'm going to head out. See you next time. I hope, by the way, the audio quality was better. Okay, now I'm really gone. Goodbye.